Every night before bed, the man would scatter fine sand around the bed, seal the doorframe tightly with tape, and shackle his ankles together. Only after completing all this would he lie down to fiddle with a Rubik's Cube, trying to stay awake. But no matter how hard he tried, he always woke up in an unfamiliar field, a golden scarab in his pocket. Just as he was about to ask an old man nearby where he was, the man opened fire without a word. Stephen had no choice but to flee, eventually darting into a crowd for cover. But then something strange happened. The villagers stepped aside, and a blond man emerged from a temple. He was conducting some kind of mystical ritual, holding a staff. The blond man waved it over people's arms, and green tattoos lit up on his skin. He declared one man the soul of justice, but when an old woman stepped forward, the tattoos on his arms suddenly turned red, marking her as impure. Without hesitation, the blond man chanted a spell, and the old woman instantly withered into a dried corpse. Then, a group of mercenaries arrived, informing the blond man Arthur that the golden scarab had been stolen and the thief was hiding in the crowd. Arthur gave a secret sign, and all the villagers knelt, except Stephen, who stood awkwardly. Clearly, he was the one they wanted. Arthur approached, demanding Stephen hand over the scarab. Though confused, Stephen obediently reached into his pocket, but as he tried to surrender it, his hand recoiled against his will. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't unclench his fingers. Then his legs began running without his consent. Someone tried to grab him, but Stephen's eyes suddenly rolled white. When he regained consciousness, he was covered in blood, surrounded by unconscious bodies. Arthur and his men closed in again, so Stephen jumped into a nearby delivery truck and hit the gas, but it was too slow. Soon, they caught up, and one mercenary even leaped onto the truck. Stephen fought him off with a cupcake, but another attacker appeared on the hood. Cornered, Stephen's eyes rolled white again. When he came to, all the attackers were down, and he was holding their weapons. He began to realize he might have some kind of superpower. So thrilled, he didn't notice the oncoming truck until the last second and swerving just in time. But the pursuing mercenaries weren't so lucky. Their car wrecked. The last two survivors were knocked off a cliff by an out-of-control cargo truck. As danger loomed, Stephen jolted awake in bed, relieved to find his ankle shackle intact and the door seals unbroken. It had all been a nightmare. Yet he didn't notice, the scrambled Rubik's Cube from before bed had mysteriously solved itself.